Hi, we're students from TAS. My name is Aaliyah.
My name's Emmy.
I'm Molly. My name is Rayner.
I'm Taylor.
Today we're interviewing artist Marion. Melanie works with all kinds of material to create art.
What is the meanest thing you've ever done?
Oh gosh. Probably thought something in my mind that I thought was a thought and said it to them, and it was meant to hurt them, and that wasn't very cool.
How much money do you make a year after taxes?
Nothing. Very little, very low. I'm an artist.
My first impression of Melanie was that she seemed almost quirky. I don't know if that's the proper word, but I don't know. I walked in and she was just talking, and I seen all the materials out on the desk, and I was like, what are we doing today? This seems cool. And then when she started speaking, I was like, she seems like my type of teacher.
Do you have any pets?
I do. I have a 19-year-old cat.
Wow.
His name is Henry. He was a street cat, and I took him in. And I have a dog. Her name is Nala Newly, and she's 9, and she's a pug husky, and I love her so much. But I consider the natural world is a big part of who and what I am, and it's a big part of my art practice. So I volunteer at a donkey sanctuary, and it's really important in my life to be around animals because they're so earnest and forthright and loving.
Fire in the barn, your artwork, your pets, or the entire donkey farm?
Oh, that's easy. I would leave my artwork in the barn to burn. I would save the donkeys and throw the pets because
Okay.
I can take care of my pets, paralyzed.
Where did you grow up?
Here.
In this school?
In this room?
Here.
In this room?
In Peterborough, Ontario, in the north end. And I went to R.F. Downey Public School.
What were your experiences in school?
I hated high school.
Me too.
So I did not enjoy the high school experience much. But that being said, I found that there was a bunch of people outside of my school that we all became friends, all the kind of weird people from all the schools. We all kind of became friends, and then we met people who did theater and music and art, and we met some people from Trent University. I joined a animal rights group there, and then I started to build a better life for myself based on reaching out to my larger community.
What music do you listen to?
You know what? Not much.
Do you have any favorite artists or artists that you get inspiration from?
I definitely loved Frida Kahlo. I was definitely on Frida Kahlo's team. But then I also liked really experimental, kind of singers like Diamanda Gallis, who was really goth and really weird and out there. I'm also can be just inspired by my own community too, and I talked to someone about this. And artists, what makes us powerful, whether we are in our own time or significant, is that we are archivists of the future. But when people look back on time periods, they don't look back on KFC and Costco. They look back on, what was the pottery like? What were they eating? What were the songs like, right? The arts. They use arts and other things to define a time. So whenever you're down and out and feeling insignificant as an artist, just let that sink in, right? Because it's a pretty powerful idea. Who influences you? They don't creatively. It doesn't have to be like any kind of artist. It doesn't that you define as an artist.
I think the first thing that kind of sparked little me to be creative and draw was Phineas and Ferb and
Okay.
the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
Sonic's a big one. I think things that are made for kids is a very safe haven for me. Because I feel like it's kind of getting personal, but I'm kind of expected to be way older than I am.
Yeah.
I always kind of had to be because I was an older sibling.
Right.
I said was. They're not dead.
Yeah.
Good to know.
They're not dead. I just don't live with them anymore. Anyways, not the point. So yeah, just having that escape and being able to kind of just draw like that, or like having characters based off that thing makes me feel a lot safer, I guess, in my mind.
Yeah.
I would say a lot of artists online, but also my friends and the people in this art class, because there are just a lot of really talented artists in the room, and it really inspires you to like get better. What are some of the challenges you've experienced surrounding art?
Well, I'm just going to throw it out there. We're just going to be real. Finance. It's hard to be an artist. You have to try and sell it. You have to document it. You have to learn computer skills. You have to do presentations. You have to sell yourself. You have to apply for grants. You have to wait to hear back. You have to, like, there's so, like, you are your own whole business team. And it's a lot of skills.
If you never pursued art, what do you think you'd be doing with your life right now?
I'd like to pretend that I'd be a veterinarian, but I totally would not exceed at that, and probably would end up being something like, I wonder if I'd end up like a mall greeter or something. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
If she wasn't an artist, I'd probably see her as like, I'm not sure if this kind of qualifies as art, but I'd see her like as like a house painter or something. Like an interior designer. I don't know if that counts as art.
Like, how are you feeling around assumptions of who you are and expectations of who you are versus who you actually, like, where you sit with all of that?
Ooh. I think maybe because my face, just when I rest my face, I look really annoyed and mad at everything. But a lot of people assume that I'm really mean. Or I'm, like, quiet and don't want to talk to anybody. And, like, especially with how I do my makeup. I hate to bring it into everything, but it's how I look. People kind of assume, like, ew, look at that emo. It's like, okay. I don't want to talk to you anyways. Fine.
Yeah.
I, like, hate when assumptions and, like, expectations are, like, given to you. Because in my experience, it's never, like, it's always like, oh, she's not a problem. And so it's just never worried about.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like, oh, I was the student who, I'm not always top of my class, but I'm high enough there where the teachers are like, oh, she's got it. And it's like, I'll be the last one who, if I need help, will get it because it's just expected I'll figure it out.
We also do it too, right? And we expect sometimes, and we make assumptions sometimes, and like we can't help ourselves, but it's like one of those check marks. It's like, I had the same thing. I was like goth, and people looked at me, and my mother was not so big on it, and to say the least. But when I was like, why are they looking at me? And then you get it, and then but at the same time I'd be like, well, look at you, like, and so it's kind of like, it's a mirror thing, which is kind of a funny thing.
I think in high school, Melanie would be a part of my friend group because she mentioned that she was goth as well. And I think that goth and alternative people kind of just, like, gravitate to each other.
I think I would be friends with her in high school because I'm more of a quiet person at first, and she's very outgoing.
What would your younger self think about, like, you now?
Oh, yeah. Part of her would think I'm fantastic. She'd be like, look at you, unicorn. But then my other part of myself would say, lower your Sagittarian and kind of bring out more pragmatic aspects of myself and be a little more disciplined in my life. Yeah.
Advice for a high school art student. So, us, basically.
Yes. Well, I think I've given you lots. Try it. And actually, my advice is, the more, like, if something frustrates you or you don't like it, do it more. So I would just say take the chance of exploring what you actually don't like, not what you do.
A piece of advice I would give to Melanie would be to listen to more music, because she said she kind of stopped, and music is cool. What's your opinion on our class so far?
I love you guys. Actually, I was so freaked out because I was like, oh, I have this great idea, but it's so weird, and I hope they get it, and I hope I can explain it properly because it's really cool, but I didn't know if I was going to be a good enough, like, explaining it, and I didn't know how receptive you would be, and, like, just from the hop, you guys were like, Yeah, no, we got this. This is no problem. You guys just jumped right in.
I think if I saw Melanie on the street, I probably wouldn't say hi, only because I have terrible short-term memory, and I'm very bad with faces.
I've answered enough emotional questions. How about you guys? You feel good?
I feel emotionally moved.
Good.